Hi, this is Kim Pinkney, and welcome to my channel. Alrighty, so this is going to be kind of like a teaser for April. We're going to do like a battle of the eras of like things that were cool, things that we admired, things that we just can't forget about to present day, between the 60s, 70s, 80s, etc., maybe even beyond. So here is the start of my LL Cool J from scratch, and I kind of imagine that I'm going to draw him looking kind of ravishing. And I'm thinking about taking the different things of different eras and just kind of combining them together. So I'm like taking icons like LL and the things that they idolized and wore and stuff like that. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of incorporate it into the image. So there'll be some portraits, and hopefully it'll bring back a little bit of nostalgia. I wish I could play their music or theme songs or whatever, but I'm just gonna pretty much, it'd be kind of cool is having him kind of like what do you call it? Maybe a guardian of some sort, guardian of hearts, knight of hearts of some sort, because he was always about the love. It wasn't always about like all the money that he's got and stuff, but it was about like treating women right, and you know, he didn't talk about hood rats. He talked about positivity. So let's see. And then also, I wanted to discuss like 5 things. Thanks, Candace. 5 things that I love about coloring, drawing. And she kind of put that out there as like to challenge us all to kind of share what we thought was really cool about our hobby. And for some of us, trying to make it into a career, maybe one day. But it's a lot more fun as a hobby. But it's nice to get paid for it too. So I'm thinking I'll have him hold a spear, and I'll look up some weapons and stuff. Just give me an excuse to draw him with like no shirt on, or like a really tight shirt. But he was very proud of his body back in the day. Still is. I'm sure he's still in good shape. Now, LL was a rapper back in the day. He's going to be representing the 90s. 90s? I think it's the 90s that he never really went away. Not really. So I want to say between 80s, late 80s, early 90s, he was really big. And let's see, we'll kind of have, here we go. And I'll move the symbol. In a bit. So maybe we caught him. Ooh, it'd be nice if he was a gladiator. Oh, dog. Yeah. We'll have him be a gladiator. I like gladiators. They're hot. So we'll bring it about like this. We don't want to make it too small because I need to be big enough so I can get a crayon in there. That would be a good size. And he's always got that hat on. So we're LL of Cool J. And we'll say that he was captured and it is doing the gladiator thing. We'll put like a gladiator helmet on him, but we'll kind of put it in like the Kangol hat type of shape. So we'll still kind of keep it, we'll keep it kind of like a compromise between the two. So instead of it being like a floppy hat, it'll be like a hard hat. And good morning to all that are able to hop into the live stream. Candace, Candace, Candace. I know, right? I know, right? I'm a jingling baby. Go ahead, baby. Oh, yeah, he was tight. Yeah, those were the days when you got your sex ed from your rap videos and stuff. Yeah, it was awesome. For good or for ill. But yeah, he was definitely all about the romance. It wasn't always about, you know, just getting it on. It was really nice. He's a nice guy. But there was a lot of getting it on. But the man was just like freaking woof. You're good. You're good. At this time of night, I'd like to go back to sleep myself. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I wonder why I'm like freaking exhausted by the end of the day. So we'll give him a, yeah, we'll make him a gladiator. Okay, so we got this good start of his body. Now LL always kind of like wore his pants kind of sagging. Thank God for him. And not everybody can carry the look off, but he did just fine. So I think what we'll end up doing is I could put our symbol, we'll put it like right here, and then like on his pants. So this will be like kind of like part D&D, part fantasy. And I have got to put the Kangol symbol on here, on his shield. So I'll just kind of sketch it out instead of, let's see, I might end up just tracing it. Just so I can get the placement right. Or I might end up redrawing it so it looks kind of like more like Alliant Rampant. So I'm going to take like brands that were big in different days, in you know, different eras. Like Kangol was big in the 90s. Let me turn that off for now. So let me see. So kind of like, let me see if I can find let's see. We'll do like this, and I think I'm gonna change the Kangol symbol just a little bit so it kind of looks like, let's see, oops, let's do this. That way you guys can also see what I was working with LL. Here we go. And I want to use, well, it doesn't look like I have it here. Let's see. And then I've got like different ideas of different people that I want to do. Let's see. There it is, Lion Heraldry. Like this kind of shape with the hands or the claws. So something like this. Let me grab that. Or actually, yeah, this is what I want because it's got like the hands and feet. Let me grab it real quick because we'll probably be using something like that in other images. I'll just paste it right here. There we go. And we'll flip it. And we'll just kind of make it a little bit more butch. We'll butch up the Kangol symbol. But for those of us who are, you know, cognizant in that era, we will know what the Kangol stood for. Well, not stood for, but, you know, that it was popular back in the day. So we'd recognize the Kangol. Just do a little bit of a change. So like, see, I don't think that kangaroos have claws, not like a lion. It's kind of wonky too, and we'll kind of tilt the head a little bit. So like maybe on this one, we'll take the Kangol symbol and kind of change it up a little bit. As the Kangol symbol looks like, oops, that. So I'm going to try to do like a little happy medium between the two here. Looks like he's doing a thumbs down. Bring the other claw back in. Should have him like boxing. So let me think now. Let's see. Oops. Knocking stuff down. Here we go. Oh, you wanted a Jeep back in the day? Yeah, he still looks good. So we'll take... I know that if you mess with the wrong kangaroo, they will jack you up. Or actually, it's kind of, I don't know. Kind of hard to make a kangaroo look butch. I'll come back to it. But I think I should just keep the symbol the same. Let's keep the symbol the same. It was a nice thought. And just to save time, we'll grab it. And then I'll just see if I can manipulate it from here. Trying to grab you. There you go. There we go. Whoops. There we go. And then, okay, so what do I like about creating everything? It's like I've got, one of the things I like about it is the control I have. Like I can do whatever I want within reason, like mess with somebody's logo. Usually it's a no-no if you're doing business with someone. Oops. Take that there. But we're going to have a little fun with it. We'll just kind of make it a little bit more butch. There we go. Oops. Sample the color again. Just kind of fill it in. Let's see, what else? Okay, so I have control, and I think that's a big thing. As a kid, you know, I started drawing as a kid, pretty much to, you know, I was bored. So it alleviated boredom. And then, you know, there's certain things, like I grew up with cartoons, and my cartoons ended after a certain time, but the love and fascination for them didn't. So I wanted to see cartoons all day, every day. And we were super, super duper limited. I'm use a little bit of the liquify tool. And I'm just going to kind of give the Kangol shape a little bit more of a shape. And if I come across like another rapper that, if I do like Run DMC, I'll probably keep the, I'll probably do the Kangol shape again, but I'd probably change it up a little bit. But this one I kind of wanted to make it look a little bit more heraldic. I don't know if that's going to work. Let me see, reset. And so I took to drawing, even though my drawings kind of sucked as a kid. Oops. Oh, it crashed. That doesn't happen often, but it happens. I don't remember where it is. Oh, here we go. And there we are. Okay. Yeah, I guess, let's see, I guess that'll be enough for now. And then I'll do other things to it. Not that one. Alright. We'll make it like a gray tone, so if you guys want to change your color to something else, we can. There we go. Alright, to LL. Let's see, we'll drop the opacity just a smidgen. Create a new layer or two. And I want to try to put him in grayscale, give him like a grayscale type of look about him. I'm going to kind of start off kind of like a caricature, where everything's just a little bit more exaggerated. But I might tone it back in so I can just kind of keep it. I want to make it so that it's not intimidating to color. And cartoons aren't intimidating, not like realistic, because more realistic images, they make you question, You know, it's like, should I put shading here, or should I do this, should I do that? You know, and then there's that pressure to try to make it kind of look realistic, and it's like, it doesn't have to be. So I'm going to try to keep him moderately cartoony, so that it's not too, I mean, like that it's recognizable that it's our LL, but it's not intimidating. But let's see, so control is one thing that I like, because it's like, as a kid I didn't have any control over, you know, what came on TV, and when my favorite shows that I waited all day for are preempted by news programs or sports. God, that sucked. They loved interrupting. They didn't care. Adults interrupting a cartoon, especially if you waited all, if it was new and you waited like all week to see the episode. Like Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, that was, oh my god, that was my favorite. And Thundar the Barbarian. I mean, I waited all morning and all week to see what was going to happen next, because they were the best. I want to say they were the best animation. They looked realistic. They didn't, you know, make you feel like a little kid when you were watching it. It was almost like you were watching, I don't want to say adult stuff, but it was fantasy. It had its place, and it was just like so fascinating to watch. You know, go get you've already had your cereal by that time. You know, it was going on noon. It was like the last cartoon of the day. Yep. I miss those days. Let's see, okay, now he looks like he's looking up when he should be looking at us. So, let's see what I'm doing wrong here. It's the really crazy angle. Plus, I'm zoomed like in a lot. Okay, and his hat is down like this. Okay, so being able to draw and color, you know, I could try to bring my favorite cartoons back to life. And then while I'm drawing, another thing that I like about drawing and creating is that in my mind, as I'm creating, I'm making sense of, you know, why this person's like half naked, you know, or wearing what they're wearing. You know, I try to find a reason for everything that's happening. So like, it's not just him wearing a Kangol hat, it's him wearing one of those hats that are not a hat, but a helmet instead. So I can even put I could put like a fur or something like that around it. I just gotta look up a helmet, a gladiator type helmet. You could give him earrings and stuff like that. You know, it's kind of reshaping the world the way I think would be looking cool. You know, it just captures the imagination. So that's one of the biggest things, is that that I can do stuff with my imagination, and then I like having a finished product. something I can look back at in either in horror or something that I've learned from. Oof, it looks rough. I'm so sorry, LL. Okay. And yeah, I'm trying to think and talk at the same and draw at the same time. It's not easy. It's got your I'm engaging in like two different sides of the brain. Let's see, another thing that I like about this is relaxing. Even though this looks like a bunch of like crazy wild lines, um, it also helps me to kind of unstiffen, since this is like the first thing I'm doing in the morning. So it kind of like relaxes me and gets me started with the day. Um, if I'm like working towards something, it gives me a sense of purpose. It's also something that not everybody does. You know, not everybody took the time or is taking the time to learn how to draw or create, or it can be frustrating, but it's also a challenge. You know, because that's another thing, that it's a challenge to try to capture what's running loose in my imagination. I got to bring this down here. Plus, it also gives me a chance to look at LL Cool J for like 4 hours, depending on how bad. It's like, ooh, I did that wrong, so let me erase and do it over. That was another thing about, and then I could put people and things together that never would have been together. I can make new people. That's another thing that I liked about drawing as a kid, and right now it's like I just created something that never would have been had I not, took two dissimilar things. Um, let's see. And I think one of the bigger frustrations about doing things that, other people don't understand, or, from first glance, it doesn't make any sense to them. It's like, what is that? I'm like, it's a centaur. It's a half man, half horse. I remember I told my dad that I had drawn a centaur, and I was so damn proud of it. And I showed it to him, and he laughed and laughed and laughed. Ha 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 ha. A man, half horse. Ha 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 ha. I'm like, but I watched Thundar. I take my mystical creature seriously. Yeah. Yeah. Some people don't get it. And I think that was the last time I showed my dad my art. But I don't think it was. I think as a kid it was my last time. But feedback from others sometimes is really nice to get. Sometimes you just want to, hear that it looks good. Not everybody is, and I remember I was super sensitive about feedback. Um, because there's a difference between criticism and you just suck. That's an ugly picture, negativity. And with different responses, um, especially being a young artist, I mean, I was still in my single digit ages, and I didn't know the difference between um, what was it called? Constructive criticism and them attacking me. if you attack my art, you're attacking me, type of thing, and it's not that way. Your art don't look. Your art is not you, even though you spent hours with it. You become, I don't want to say attached. Fall in love with your characters. Yeah, I've done that. Um, Only to find out that my darling is all warped. But I didn't see that then. Um, let's see. And one of the other things I like is that I see things that I didn't see before. Like looking at his nose, and you in your mind's eye, and I've learned a lot just throughout my years of drawing. The things that you see in your mind, like uh, they are symbolic. They're not. What's the word? They're not like what reality really is. It's like when you see an eye in your head, it could look like this, and that's symbolic. But eyes are actually, they have curves. So drawing from, and this is why I use source images. It's like eyes have different shapes and curves and bends and folds. It's not just like, I got an eye. And I didn't realize that until a teacher had mentioned it, and an art teacher, and she had mentioned that either, I can't remember exactly if it was a male or female that mentioned it. Maybe it was both. Not a half and half, but I think I've heard it from multiple sources that you should draw from reality. Don't draw from other people's drawings. Draw from real people, unless you're like trying to copy them. When you copy them, you copy their mistakes as well. So it's always better to draw from something that's real, even if it is a photograph, than trying to draw it from your head. You may have the muscle memory of how an eye looks, but it's still a symbol until you compare it to like something real. I don't know. It's a weird way to look at it, but basically they say that your mind is wrong, 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 wrong. I mean, in my head, my drawings, they came out weird on paper because in my head they were always moving. They were blinking, they were shifting, they're changing their poses. They didn't stay stagnant. So when I was drawing, my pictures they were warped because the subject in my head was moving constantly. And out of proportion and all that other stuff. And also as a kid, I always drew in black and white. I don't think I always had colors. I don't think I had markers and crayons. Maybe I did when I was little, but I didn't use them. I always stuck with the black and white. And partially because it's easier. So because if you can get shades and stuff like that, or tones, I didn't even know what all that stuff was. Let's see, let me back up a little bit. Let's see. But this is like a journey into trying to figure out how to draw or how to get that likeness. And because it's a weird angle already, it kind of throws off perspective, which is fine. I like that. It's a challenge. And all this right here, all tones. So I have to, what I do to try to get accuracy is draw those tones. Get that soft brush out and capture what I see in those tones. And then compare distances. And it was so hard to transition from black and white to color. But I love color, and I'm still learning after all these years of drawing. So everything I saw was in tones. Like on his cheekbone, you can see that like this really bright yellow color on his cheek, and then it moves from yellow to orange, orangish brown. I would see that in black and white. Different degrees of dark and light. And I just compare, like, is the shadow underneath his hat the same as what's on his cheek? If it isn't, I just kind of lighten it up. And it can really just bring it out. With this being a coloring page, I need to be less intense so that you guys can add color to it. Like I was trying to color my stuff, and there's something to being the artist, and you also color, because then you can spot the angst of somebody else having to color your stuff. It's like, you lost a line here, Kim. This line goes nowhere. Things like that. And you don't want to take away that experience where, because you kind of... Oh, another thing I like is the relaxing portion. If you've ever done like Zen doodling type of thing, you kind of lose yourself. You lose track of time, and that's another thing about drawing. I lose track of time. It's like time doesn't exist when you're drawing or coloring and listening to music. But I also become a little bit more aware of what's going on, and then the more I draw, the more muscle memory I get. And drawing digitally, it's a whole nother medium from drawing with a pencil, because I used to love, I don't know if it was the sound of the pencil on the paper or just seeing it on the from a white piece of paper, nothing was there, and then all of a sudden it's almost like life just exists, like the Big Bang Theory. So a lot of, I guess, what I like is it all kind of is comparable to each other. Maybe it's the same thing, so maybe I'm cheating. But yeah, I think with art, I'm always learning a new something. You're always learning something, and that's why I don't like drawing the same thing multiple times. So as much as I love animation, I don't want to draw the same thing, multiple times just for kicks. I want to have an end result. And there will be an end result, but there'll be like exercises that say, what is it called? Draw fruit. I don't like drawing I don't I don't like drawing inanimate objects. And I think that's why I can't really get into coloring mandalas. I mean, the end result is usually very beautiful, but it doesn't emotionally speak to me. A mandala doesn't smile. You know, a mandala doesn't look mad at you. A man looks mad at you. You know, but I could probably change that. Smiling mandalas, that would be kind of cool. It's a challenge. It combined two weird things, two dissimilar things. So maybe I'll change that. I'll make my mandala smile. I don't know how I'm going to make them smile, but gosh darn it, it's a challenge. But it's always, you always hear like, you're only as good as your last whatever, but that's not true. I think it's also in the mind too, because one thing that you might not like, because I remember seeing, watching people's completed pages, different YouTubers, and people doing colors. I don't like how this one turned out. I hate it. I hate it, hate it, hate it. It looks all weird. And then I end up liking it. And I feel like, am I weird for liking this? And she hates it? Like, nah. Yeah, taste is subjective. And so, like, it always kills me when an artist puts their stuff down. They put their colors down. And I'm like, you don't like it, but it's beautiful. I can't remember who it was, but I think that happened. It happens a lot. And I think it's from, you know, you spent time with it and it didn't come out the way your mind's eye kind of foresaw it. Try to give him that side shadow. And thus, it's awkward. Oops, I didn't drop the opacity. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. That's why. The linear burn layer gives me that extra shadow and softness, well, hardness. I want it like a hard shadow. It's kind of hard to draw from something small because it's kind of pixelated. You can't see all the details. And usually I don't like drawing from anything that I can't see the eyelashes type of thing. If I can't see your eyelashes, it's not, I'm on the wrong layer again. Okay, I'm on that layer. Just don't undo, Kim. I'm only harping that it's on the wrong layer because I can manipulate it a little bit more. There we go. That's what I want. Just a little darker, not too dark. And then I'll just kind of blend it to the rest of the skin. I can even go a little darker. But yeah, just like, there we go. Just like drawing reality and stuff like that, and coloring reality, it has its moments where it's super difficult, but then it has its moments where it's like you're learning something. It's like, I could do it this way. You learn how to make it work for you. And again, it comes down to control. Well, control freak, I didn't realize it. But it's something that I can make LL Cool J into one of my, what is it called? Damn it. The words are hard on Tuesday. Sorry, you guys. Into my centaur, little sexy centaur. That would be so cool. Make this like really super bright right here. But another thing is it it'll force you, drawing black and white is to force you to see those tones. Like this little circle right here that I've created, is it darker than this little circle over here, or this little neck of the woods? And if it's like lighter or darker in between, I'd just give it like an in-between color, or I'd make one darker or one lighter. And that's how I ended up learning how to do shading and stuff, comparing things. Is this darker than this? Oh, absolutely. But the colors next to it, or the shades next to it, aren't as dark. So I start to bring some of that darkness around, and just do the same thing with pencil. I'm almost getting his likeness. It's almost there. I just got to kind of do some comparisons. So like his jaws is not that wide. Some of that's shadow. It's the eyes that are pissing me off, because they're so dark here, and I can't get any closer to see the details. So I'm going to kind of have to rely on instinct and whatever shadows are here. So they could still be too big, theoretically. We'll go ahead and merge those two. And so sometimes it's like that. Sometimes your only source image is something that, I'm going to move on, is something that is fuzzy. So you just kind of wing it the best you can. A fuzzy image, if you get a fuzzy image, you're not going to get an even clearer one. You're going to just get a bigger, fuzzier image. That's why I try to let people know that if you're going to have me do a portrait for you, give me a portrait that has enough detail so I can see your eyelashes. That is zoomed in enough. That is detailed and crisp enough. If you can see eyelashes, you're really good. Otherwise, you're just going to get tones. And you haven't lived until you had to draw a black cat from a photograph that is fuzzy and small. Yeah, you ain't living till you draw that. But another thing is being able to, I liked some of the praise that I would get. Oh, you're so good, or blah blah blah. But being able to see others' work and see their vision and what they've come up with, especially if we're all drawing the same thing or the same subject. It's like, I drew it better. But and then sometimes you'll come across someone who did it better than you, and it's not so much the jealousy, if you can get over the jealousy portion, because you'll always find somebody who's different, or you would think better, but we all have a voice. We all have I'm trying to think of what the word would be. A uniqueness to approaching things. And I think that's so cool. And there's some artwork that I just cannot initially take to. I think what I'll do is I'll bring these guys together. There we go. And then I can get rid of some of these stray lines. Make sure I didn't lose my layer. Okay. Oh, wrong brush. But yeah, I'm trying to stay positive. And always know, because there'll be times that you want to rage quit and stuff like that, because it's just not measuring up to your mind's eye or your ideal. And it may not be you, it could be your source image. And like this eye right here, is definitely not measuring up to what I'm looking for. But what I'm going to have to do is just I can either find another image or see if I can make this one work. And if you're having a hard time like me trying to get the likeness, you can always try it from a different angle. No pressure, no pressure. I'm just trying to get the shape here. Just follow the shape of your tones here. And make sure you zoom out every now and then. So right now I'm just pretty much just trying to follow the tones and the shapes that it creates. I like how art can tell a story. I've probably gone past my 5. And that's another thing is art telling a story. Sometimes it doesn't tell the story that you're trying to tell. You just do the best with what you've got. You'll get better. And you got to stay positive. Positivity is the key. Even though you don't like what you've come up with, sometimes stepping away from it. I learned different coping skills, I think. And I think I just feel calmer if I can at least bring out a scratch piece of paper. It doesn't even have to be perfect paper. It could be computer paper. And just draw an eye. Just getting my hands moving, and it just kind of engages a different part of my brain. And it's a calmer side. Oof. Yeah, and another thing I like about coloring is that, or coloring other people's stuff, is making that come to life, kind of, sort of. But, that once you look at it and it's like, I took a page that barely had anything on it and I made it look like blah, blah, blah. I'm just looking at his eyes to see if I can at least get where I'm going wrong on it. Another thing I always hated doing is starting all the way over again, especially if I put all this detail into something. Let's see, another thing I could do is take this image and kind of turn it so that it is kind of somewhat straight. Let's see. Let me turn it kind of like this. And then I can turn, turn this about the same angle. And then I can kind of see just from a different perspective. And just kind of zoom in. And that might help a little bit too. Let's see. So now I'm seeing that let's need to kind of, and then you can always measure, like if you ever have a problem with like your eyes not looking like they're, the right size or anything like that, use them as a source of measurement. You know, you can take a piece of paper and make tick marks from one corner of one eye to the other, because usually the eyes are one eye apart. And if your source eye, because I'm doing that right now, I'm kind of looking at his eye and trying to find a landmark here. Alright. Alright, so that'll work. It's all in the angle here. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, there's like no detail there, so it's all about the shadows too. And then the highlights here. Everything will, not everything is a hard line. So that's another thing. If you're ever drawing and you just seem like you can't get it, and all you have are like shadows to go with, throw those shadows in there. Let them help you. And that might be what's throwing it off, is that I don't have his mustache in there. There we go. It's not that era. Okay, and I see some shadows right here under his nose. And it's not quite wide enough. Okay, so I like choosing my subjects. I like creating something that nobody else has done. It's kind of cool to see other people coloring from the same book, but then it's also kind of frustrating to me. It's like, why is everybody coloring from just this one book? It's a cool book, but it's like sometimes I just want to have a unique voice, and the way you show it in that one particular book is that you color it your way. And I like how the art community on YouTube shares how they do a particular thing. Let erase, which also helps in teaching others, sharing the knowledge. And I wish I had that when I was a kid. I wish I had, different techniques on coloring, or else maybe I would have done more colors. I wouldn't be like all into the black and white. So one of the things I'm looking at is the different shapes that are being created. So like right here on his nose, it looks kind of like a box shape. And this one kind of looks almost like a guitar or a mandolin, his nostril. His lips have this curve that's almost like a sneer. I'm just gonna come back around. It's like you start to see different things with people's features. Like that's one of the reasons why I don't like drawing Shannen Doherty. Once you see it, it's like hard to unsee it. is how her eyes are kind of wonky, and it makes her look unique. Had she not have that quirk with her face, you know, she'd probably be like really plain. Okay, I'm going to soften this up a little bit. I should have used like a dark gray instead of a black. Black is a little too harsh. But at this point, black is what it's calling for. So we'll throw a little bit of light in there. There we go. Because there's a little bit of light there. There we go. Now his eyes are what's really going to drive me nuts because they're just tones, and I love a really good eye. Oops. It's a nice hard line. So I'm just going to have to like kind of wing it. We'll throw some highlights in there. We'll make it like a little bit lighter here. We'll just keep that highlight. It's like I can't tell how big his eyeball is. It looks like almost alien. Let me see. Not him, but the way I've drawn it here. Let's try to get the symmetry back. Okay, and now I see that his eye is a little long. Let's see. We'll soften it up a little bit around the edges. And I'm just trying to see the shape. So like this little triangle shape in right here. And then you can't even see this side. So that's either his eyelashes because of the angle of his eye. We're almost there. He looks like he's going on safari. So now what I need is to fix that shadow here because it's very soft. Got his chin, and right above his chin there's like a little shadow. Yeah, sometimes you'll just have to go by whatever degrees of shadow that you've got. Because I'm not like on a deadline or anything like that with this, I don't have to like rush it. And after all that, and if I still like I still don't have it, I'll break out some lines to either like kind of trace what I've been missing. Because sometimes you know, you're looking right at your problem. It could be like something's just like a little bit off, and you know you just didn't see it. And if you're Don Johnson, you can be traced and still not look like yourself. I ain't never gonna get over that mess. I had never had that happen before, where I could trace somebody and still not look like him. Scary. Okay, so What I'm going to end up doing is probably lightening him up just a bit so that you can add your own brown color to this beautiful man. And I'm going to make his lines a little bit softer and gray, so it'd be like the true grayscale. He almost looks like Tupac here. Almost. Okay. Let me zoom out. So for those of you who are just joining, go ahead and toss him right here. And it looks like his nose is not wide enough for what I've got. So I'm gonna, and it's kind of hard to see because of the angle and the shadows. So I'm just going to kind of add them here. And if I feel like I still haven't captured his likeness, I'll go ahead and whip out a tracing to see if where I went wrong. Sometimes your best isn't good enough. It happens to the best of us. All right, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a quick replay. We'll zoom out a little bit. And I'll put some more music on. I kind of like that one song, Something in the Air. That's pretty cool. There's something in the air. Let's see. So we're working on the Kangol here. I was going to make him more heraldic looking. It's that hump in the back, I think, that kind of throws things off. That would have been funny if I could carry it off. Maybe the next one. Since all the work is done right here, I'm just going to bring this up like this. So like when we come back after the time lapse here, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the rest of his body. And let me look for some armor here. Ooh, I see a hat that would be like badass for the Kangol hat. Let me see. Because it's got those the way the sides kind of move. Yeah, I think what was missing was that he didn't have the mustache. And my angle of the nose was just a little off. And I think the bump of my nose is a little too high. So I'll trim that down a little bit or soften it up a bit. Right, the angle of the shadow here is a little off too, so I'm going to use my liquify tool and I'm just going to kind of pump it up a little bit, make sure my size isn't too big. And we'll bring this in a little bit. And this eye can come up just a little. This lip can come in a little bit. Like it's a little flat right here. Let's see. Bring that up a little bit. It's a really nice tool. Just give me a few little tweaks here. We'll pop that up a little bit. There we go, just a little. This can come down just a little. Make it a little bigger. Okay. I'm going to use a little bit more of my shadows here. Just kind of bring it down, sort of. We don't lose that eye. And I'm just kind of looking at this shape right here. And this is all shadow. And there's a shape of some shadow here. It's not as dark as this beast right here. So I'm just going to hit it lightly and just kind of bring a little bit of that down a little bit and a little bit over. And then I'll just kind of work some of these other construction lines in. Another thing that might help if you're doing some sketching, before I start to smudge the shiznit out of it, is to the planes of the face. That might also help, like this shadow right here, shadow highlight, might help ground things a little bit, and just going into the direction of those lines also help too. So this is like almost like comic booky. And that also might help with the likeness. And then you can smudge them or leave them, but it looks a lot more like LL, because that's one of the things that pops out. It's like you kind of had that kind of going on. Got the prominent chin here because he's looking a little defiant at us. And I could close his eye up just a little bit more, so he looks a little bit more defiant at us. Get that haughtiness going. And then I can either leave those lines there or just kind of smudge them in. And still trying to maintain the what is it called? The tone. You don't want to smudge it too much to where you lose your tone differences. So bring that back. Like right here, he's got a big shadow. Very strong jaw. And then kind of soften the edge just a little. And then, so now I've got differences in tone between the dark here and how it lightens up when it comes around the edges here. It's going to be a fun coloring page. Soften up the tones here. There we go. And just try to maintain the differences in tone and the movements of tone so that if you go over it with a brown crayon, your brown crayon will pick up, or like a mahogany crayon or something like that, will pick up some of the subtleties here. Yeah. And sometimes that comes with what is it called? What am I thinking? Get those words out, Kim. You can do it. Looking at something for a long time, you start to notice different things. Like right here, his nose kind of has that little curve inwards. His there's a little highlight. And sometimes it's the little things. Just bring a little bit of, make it a little bit darker, like a little gray. That way the highlight will show up. I'll put a little white there. It's like right here on the edge. Let me back it up a little bit. His nose has this hard shadow inside of it, but around it are some like little soft gray tones. I'll just bring that up about like right there, or leave it on black and just bring down the brush opacity, and then I can just kind of bring it up to the level by tapping. And then just kind of smudging it a bit. And I'm looking at the tones on the nose. The tone that I'm playing with right now is darker than other parts of the nose. This one's about the same tone. Just kind of soften it a bit. And there's this tone that kind of meets it. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of the tone off of here and just kind of move it around. And I'm going to take a little bit here. And then kind of lead it out a little bit. Now your colors can be amazing too if you have the source image. There we go. It's a little darker here, which and then it kind of goes towards the other tone. because it's a bend. Come on, you. Feather, damn you. There we go. And these two tones don't quite meet. So there's a highlight here that's kind of trapped, so I'll just kind of close it up a bit. So now you've got like a whole bunch of different tones going on in his face. There we go. And that gives us more of a likeness. Alright, it's just those eyes are pissing me off. Okay, so let's see. Because I just can't see what's going on in this corner of his eye here. And that might make a difference. So I'm just going to follow the tones here. That was a mistake. Okay. So looking at this big massive tone here, it's not fully black, so I'm going to kind of throw a little bit of the gray in there and then bring it down a little bit. You'll bring it closer to his eye here. Okay, and then his hat is there. Okay, looks good. Good enough for government work. And we'll do a little bit of playing here. Not too much, because I think the helmet might close some of that up. Now the helmet that I'm looking at, I'm going to bring it over, excuse me, so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Bam. So I'm going to grab that. Let me just copy the image real quick. Let's see, do I have that up? I do. Let me make a new layer. Da 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 da. New slide. Now because I did this, I know I'm gonna have to color it. Let's see. Let me see. I'm going to flip it horizontal. There we go. So here it is right here. Come on. Oh, I'm such a dumb bunny. I'm clicking the wrong screen. Okay, here we go. It's like I'm sharing my screen, but I'm clicking the share and not the one that affects. Okay, so let's see. We're gonna make this look like a Kangol hat. And you know what's gonna be funny? We'll throw the symbol on there too. We'll put the symbol like either right here in the front, or we'll put it like right here on the side. We'll make a gold Kangol hat. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he also was a big proponent of Adidas, unless that's Run DMC, I can't remember. I thought it was LL, my Adidas, da 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 da. Yeah, rappers is gladiators. Yeah, everybody's going to be a warrior of some sort. That or a magic user. I saw this picture of Brandy as Moesha, and I'm like, ooh, Moesha. And she was a singer. So I definitely will have to capitalize on that. Now I want to make this look gold, so I don't know if I should be putting in the highlights of where the shadows, the highlights and the shadows would be, to help, or if I should just leave it alone. I'm going to do this as a lighter gray. Just keep it separate from his face. Let me see if I can just nudge. I should have did that on a different layer. That way I can get as close as I need to. There we go. We'll put it beneath it. There we go. And then I'll just kind of nudge it with liquify. Now, let's see, I'm trying to think, do I want to, I like these little gladiators on here, but instead of the gladiators, I think I'll put like musical notes. Let's see. Or Adidas. Oh, the other day on Coloring with Candace, she had a picture of Run DMC that she had found on Etsy, I believe. And when I went to look for that picture, I started coming up with, I'm trying to clean up some of these lines here. Another picture with Run and one of the other guys, two of the guys, and I thought how cool it would be to have them posing with shields with the Adidas symbol and Kangol, because they too were like totally into the Kangol and Adidas, even more so Adidas. See, I think I want to point this at, we'll let this still be round. And I think what I'll end up doing is kind of just softening up. Let's see, merge those two together, and we'll just kind of soften up the edges to just kind of be consistent with him. And we'll just draw out a little bit of that hard dark line. So he's casting more of a shadow than anything. And then just to try to be consistent, we'll just have that soften up. Whoops. Trying not to leave any lines here or any messes. Okay, it's almost time for me to go. Yeah, I was taking a break from drawing my Behold Beauty ladies, because eye candy and all. And I've been really thinking about the battles of the 80s and 90s. Gotta have This Boy Is Mine. Yeah, from Brandy and Monica. That would be so funny. That boy is mine. Okay, so if I do run out of time, I could take tomorrow and do the etching part. I'm trying to decide, do I want him to have the shield? He's got to have some sort of weapon. Oh, it'd be cool. Instead of it like him holding it like that, like none shall pass, more like over his shoulder, like really super casual. So he's got it. Just kind of have him holding it casually. And we can do a sword. We should do an Adidas sword. Put like something on the hilt. I don't like sketching with that brush. It needs to raise up higher. There we go. Let me get it off of this layer here. So that means I'm going to probably just kind of turn him a little bit. Just a little. And just bring this up a little. Oh, you know, should do like Mace with a mace. That would be so funny. I think that's his name. And I want to do more icons. Like I want to draw like Little Kim as either a warrior or what do I want to draw her as? Like a warrior princess type of thing, because she's going hot. Barbarian queen. Okay, so we got our Kangol. Let's see if we can whip this out a little bit faster. Maybe you'll give him a round one. Move it over more. And we'll bend the Kangol a little bit. Let's see. Give it that more of a rounder look. Crap. Let's see. I want to do another circle. Yeah, we'll fill it with like a lighter gray. And let's see. go. And let's see, let's throw some. So I think we'll put the details on tomorrow. We'll do a live stream tomorrow. It's nice to know what I'm going to be doing. Okay, on LL Slayer. I think he'd look really cool with in like a blue tone, like instead of like using brown, but using like oops, using monochromatic, or taking in colors that are from whoops, the 90s. I'm just going to do some quick fills here. Ooh, does he have a scar? Like right here? Yeah. We'll make him a little wider. Yeah, this right here is like a really super quick way to color. You just have your color fill on, use your freehand, and hit add. And then let me go ahead and soften these a little bit. Not too much. We'll leave those alone. We'll go ahead and get another layer. And this will be my linear burn. And we'll drop it down to about 30. There we go. And this is where I will add more of the softer tones here. Now that scar would be badass for a gladiator. Should do like some sort of incorporate the throwback Thursday symbol somewhere in here. Let's get that shoulder. I'm trying to turn him. Be a bear. There we go. Don't want to go too far. This is just a quick way of just adding a bit of tone here. Bring a little bit of highlight in by going, starting my smudge from the white to the dark. And we'll even throw in, I can't do that on that layer. I was going to put in a highlight, like how we have on his chest right here. Okay, and just kind of follow it down. Take a little bit of that. Oh, wrong layer. Let's see. You know, I was just telling myself, self, you don't draw enough gladiators and superheroes. It's excuse to draw half-naked men. Any excuse is a good excuse, damn it. I wish I would put the shield on a different layer, that way I could keep the lines nice and crisp. I think parts of it are on a different layer. I'm going to probably soften it up like the hat anyway. And now I'm just trying to follow the highlights, using all my little stray lines as you know, elements for shadow. Some of these lines are on a different layer. Let's see. We could probably clean up this sword a little bit. Or should we use another medieval weapon? Like a giant microphone. Some of these actors and actresses that we're going to capture from the 70s and 80s and stuff like that, we should give them like a coat of arms with like whatever they were doing. Like some of them would do acting and singing. So their coat of arms should like reflect a little bit of that. I'm just going to try to give it some shadow. It'd help to be on the right layer. Trying to decide what I want to do to his sword here. There's a lot of things I want to do to his sword. Do, do, do. All right. Don't want to put texture on his sword yet. Back, beast. Okay, and we're gonna do the same thing that we did on his face, taking hard and soft tones. Let's see. We'll bring this down some. Trying to think, how do I want to put his hand on here? Yeah, that's, we finished up at his torso. Back it up so at least we'll know what we're doing here. Looks like his hand will go off if I don't move him. So I'm going to select everybody. Just kind of slide it over. So if you're watching, what do you think, since he is going to represent early 90s, I think. Let me see. Because he was really big in, let's see, yeah, it looks like 90s was his era. We got to do something with Snoop Dogg. You guys, what do you think we should do with Snoop Dogg? Should he be like, if he was a D&D character? Let's see. What do you think he should be? Like, should Snoop Dogg be a warrior, or should he be like a magic user? Um, let's see. Trying to see where he was the biggest. Oh, Curtis Blow, Run DMC. Um, Trying to see where he. Okay, so he was like between late 80s, early 90s, is where he really just like became the shit. Yeah, between 85 and 87, I think. But he really broke through after 87, between 87 and 93. The Bristol Hotel. Oh, I should put the hotel number on his, on him somewhere. I think it was like 518 or something like that. I don't know. Okay, so anyway, um, but yeah, that's when he was the biggest, per Wikipedia. So I guess he could be either 80s or 90s. But since they were discussing the 90s this week, he'll be 90s, be early 90s. Okay, so we need a Kangol, and I need to do it kind of like how this helmet is like. Okay, getting distracted, Kim, getting distracted. Okay, finish the body, finish the torso at least. And I started looking at his fist, and I'm like, man, what do I want to put on his? Maybe he didn't wear gloves. um, Trying to think of anything I can do with. Okay, so we got that. Okay, we're on this layer. Oh no. Need to give him a chain or something. He just looks weird without a chain. Trying to remember. Do I want to? I need to find a source image that has someone holding a sword at his angle so it doesn't look unnatural. Like, would his fingers be more? Let's see. Oh, okay, I know. Maybe his hand is up more because I'm like kind of posing with my fist. I need to put a mirror over here. Let's see if the hilt is coming this way. I need to bring that down just a smidge. don't even know what layer I'm on. Okay, here I am. I'm thinking that be like this. I'm gonna put a glove on him. I made all this, what is it called? Some chain mail. May as well use some of it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find an image of can't go too low here. Ooh, we could throw him in a loincloth. That's sagging. We'll have it be open. Maybe like chaps or something. And we'll put a belt on him. And so this will be his draws. Yeah, maybe we'll throw in an Adidas belt or just soften this up a little bit. That's a little too much, but that's okay. I'll just kind of blend inward. Okay, so I got to get going. And so this will be part 1. And I'll do a time-lapse replay for us. Go ahead and merge. There we go. Let me get a little bit more tone in here. Grab a little bit of tone off the sword here and just cast a little bit of a shadow. Yep, we'll throw more dark tones on here. Let's see if we can grab a little bit of tone here. Did it just crash? Son of a biscuit eater, it did. Well, I'm glad I didn't mess it up too bad. Okay. There we go. That's the second time. Must have an update. Yeah, it's probably updating. me go ahead and close this out. Close out a shit ton of windows. There we go. Insane. Never had that happen before where it like just like was so rebellious. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we'll do a quick replay and I will see you guys on the morrow. And feel free to drop in anything that you think would be so cool for the battle. So basically it's anybody from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and what we're doing is trying to bring what I'm trying to do is bring a little bit of D&D into the past. So maybe a 70s star could be a magic user, you know, an armorer, a wizard, I don't know. Anything that would be kind of like dragon rider, you know, anything cool like that. Dragon handler. Now that would be kind of cool as Snoop Dogg with his tieflings or something like that, you know. You can, that's one of the other things I like about drawing and coloring is I can add whatever the hell I want, whoever the hell I want, within reason. Yeah, so if there's a thing that was like really super popular in the 90s or the 80s, let me know either in the comments or on Facebook, or even touch base with Candace, of Coloring with Candace, because she is compiling a list for me of you know, things that would look cool to color. And oh, I can already see that his eyes were way too close together. That's why it's important to like step back. And usually I take care of the eyes first because that's like the window to the soul. But not this time. I was all over the place on this. But I think I kind of got his likeness. I think I kind of nailed it. You guys let me know what you think. What would you like to color? Who would you like to color? Because I did Knight Rider as a special thing for Candace to get her mouth watering and to help her see what my vision is. Just take icons from the 70s, 80s, today, and put a little bit of medieval action on them. Not necessarily fighting each other because we got enough violence in this world, but you know, it might be kind of cool too. But kind of like they're jousting or lynching or whatever. And you know, I could probably even throw in some child stars in there too. Living, dead, doesn't matter. Whoever you think was hot back in the day. I might even toss in yeah, who knows what I'll toss in. Oh, that would be so funny to see like Tupac and all those rest of them in armor and stuff. That would have been so badass. Jousting, you know. And then on his helmet I want to throw in something that looks embedded, you know, and I think I'll need a little bit more time with that because they all need their own little shadows and stuff like that. But I was going to put like musical notes on probably like around the shield and on the helmet so they kind of match. But he was also an actor, so like for other actors I'll probably put in like a split shield so they'd be acting as well as you know, whatever their profession was that made them famous. But oh yeah, I'd love to see like either Megan or Meg the Stallion, or you know, as a battle princess or something like that. That'd be so cool. Oh my gosh, throwing down. And it's just any icon, as long as I can find them in Google. And if you are cool enough to send me your picture or point me in the direction of where I can find your photograph, I might incorporate the person with the idea into the picture. So you could be like a king watching a joust, or a queen holding court with your favorite stars or something like that. If I can get if Candace slips and put a picture of herself without them glasses on, those sunglasses on, girl, it's lit, it's on. So if you'd like to be in here with a favorite star, let me know. You know, they could be rescuing you, throwing you over their shoulder, or whatever they did back in those days. But anyway, you guys, thanks for hanging out with me in my struggle. And we'll finish him up tomorrow. We'll throw some stuff on that shield, some stuff on that helmet, and we'll crisp him up and get him ready for coloring. You guys have a great one, and I will see you on the morrow. Take care. Bye-bye.